To Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
And we'll have Mike back on the morning show tomorrow morning because let's face it, Mike is more interesting than me. But here we are at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, February 10th. We got a whole bunch of news updates for you. First of all, West Point suffered a little bit of a power outage this morning. It was fixed up by about 11:30 in the morning. We'll have some information about that. Plus, we have Diana Hess from Joanio that's going to be talking with us about an upcoming event. Further, we're going to have a report from someone at a local condo complex with some substandard conditions over there, and we're going to start to gather some information on that. But thank you once again for tuning in to Rockland's News, and let's get into the report for today. First of all, as far as the weather, it's Tuesday, February 10th. It's 34 degrees out and mostly cloudy. You can obviously see that outside the window. For tomorrow, we're going to have, let's take a look here. Wednesday, it's actually going to be the possibility of some snow flurries and some rain, which nobody likes. 41 degrees, 29-degree low. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's going to be partially cloudy, partially sunny, and we should have some better skies, but it's still going to be in the high 30s, early 40s in terms of the layout. And we're also going to have on the weekend, it's going to be Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. It's going to be 40, 45 degrees, 45 degrees. So Monza. Yeah, that groundhog is just not giving up. He just wants to make sure that we do not have a completely pleasant winter time. So let's get into all of the news that's fit to be listened to here on Rockland's News. First of all, let's make sure that we have that fancy panel up so that you could see, wow, it's Rockland's News. But yeah, there's some serious stuff that happened today. First of all, up in West Point, just in Orange County, right over the border north of us in Rockland County, thousands of residents in West Point and the town of Highlands were impacted this morning by a regional power outage tied to a substation issue in Harriman, New York. Orange and Rockland utilities crews worked throughout the morning to restore service, with most residents reporting power back by approximately 11:30 a.m. We reached out to representatives over at Orange and Rockland, and there was a little bit of a disparity between when the power came back on and what was reported on the website at oru.com, because the map wasn't updated at the time that the power started coming back up. So they updated the map at about 11:45 a.m., but the power started really to come back up and running in that area at approximately 11:30. Several residents and several West Point related facilities reported in. It disrupted operations at the West Point Military Academy, including school closures and modified hospital services at Keller Army Community Hospital. A warming center was opened by the Fort Montgomery Fire Department, and over 3,000 homes were reportedly affected at the peak. Full restoration was originally estimated to be 3 o'clock, but quite frankly, from what we see from all the various social media groups and our contacts up in that area, because we created some roots in there in the early 2020s, it seems like all is well at the moment. We will continue to update you on that story and find out what the heck happened, and you can view the current story at rocklandsnews.com. Rockland County's WIC program has received an $85,000 boost from the Mother Cabrini Health Foundation. The funding supports the Fresh Start WIC Access and Nutrition Equity Program, which focuses on increasing access to nutrition education and farmers markets for over 20,000 women, infants, and children across Haverstraw, Muncie, New Square, and Spring Valley. And the grant will fund additional staff and expand efforts to connect families with healthy food options, which is certainly an initiative these days. Health Commissioner Dr. Mary Leahy says that the goal is to improve outcomes for the county's most vulnerable families. The North Rockland Chamber of Commerce has been awarded the Sean V. Hart Making a Difference Award for its tireless advocacy during a challenging 2025. The Chamber was recently honored for organizing local business owners affected by Route 9W utility construction, where retailers faced over $13 million in reported losses. Chamber President Stephanie Malowski and board members accepted the award during a ceremony hosted by the Stony Point Democratic Committee. Officials say that the recognition underscores the Chamber's nonpartisan commitment to supporting small businesses and driving community recovery efforts. And on Sunday, with wind chills below zero, the 27th annual Stony Point Seals Polar Plunge was held on Super Bowl Sunday, brought heat to the Hudson this weekend, raising funds for local children with severe medical challenges, specifically 3 children that are dealing with some serious medical bills, the families, over 100 costumed participants, including a penguin that was running around, braved the cold in the parade. Although no one entered the water this year due to extreme conditions, as a matter of fact, we were down there and the ice was over 1.5 feet high on top of the Hudson River. So there was no way anybody was going to get onto that water unless they had, I don't know, condor wings or something. But the event still drew nearly 750 supporters standing there in sub-zero temperatures and continued a tradition that has raised over $1 million since 1999. President of the Stony Point Seals, John Fox, summed it up. It is not about the cold, it's about the community. And if you'd like to still donate, it's a really good kids that certainly have considerable medical challenges. And if you'd like to learn more about them and perhaps consider donating, there's a really nice website, stonypointseals.com. And you can learn more about Skyer, Lizzie, and Aria, who are this year's charitable recipients for the Stony Point Seals Polar Plunge. Rockland Community College is honoring Black History Month with the theme Black Excellence, 100 years of acknowledging and celebrating the contributions of African Americans. Events run throughout February and are open to the public, spotlighting cultural heritage, history, and leadership. RCC President Dr. William Mullaney, we still got to get him for an interview on Rockland's News. They've been kind of dodging us. We asked a few times. We're going to follow up on that after this live stream. I'm just writing a note to myself. See, Mike Kluger would be very happy with me. He wants to be the voice of Rockland. Well, we're going to get all these voices voicing what's going on, and I think that's a good thing for the public knowledge. Would you not agree? If you do, share this episode with some people. RCC President Dr. William Mullaney emphasized that education is most important when it reflects the full richness of our shared history. And this follows RCC's 5th consecutive HEED Award for campus diversity. On a side note, they were still trying to climb out of a deficit. I think they were anywhere from $5 to $12 million in the fiscal hole, as it were, back in 2024 when Rockland News first broke that story. So we would like to find out if that deficit is still there. I know they fired a bunch of people. There was a whole bunch of rounds of termination and so on and so forth. But we'll try to get an idea of what's going on over there in future episodes of Rockland's News. And that way you can remain informed about what's happening over at Rockland Community College. Okay, so we have with us as our first guest today, we have Diana Hess from Juanio. She's been a guest on Rockland's News several times over. Diana, thanks for joining us on Rockland's News this afternoon.
You're very welcome, and I'm going to introduce you to the guest of the hour, our CEO, Randy Rios Castro. Tom, thanks.
She's back on. How you doing, Randy?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. You know, bundling up these days, but that's the nature of the weather is something that we can't control. We could just report on it.
True.
So what's going on?
So we have our legislative forum coming up this Friday, where we'll be hosting the Rockland County legislators to talk to them about key issues impacting Juanio and several of our sister agencies, St. Dominic's, Venture Together, the Arc of Rockland, and Greater Mental Health of New York will all also be present. We're going to have some of our families, the people we're supporting, here also to talk about some key issues. So our goal for the forum is to bring awareness to some of our concerns regarding the New York State budget and in general what's happening that is impacting our field, particularly with Medicaid, food stamps, as well as some of the immigration issues and the impact on our workforce. But primarily, we will be talking about the New York State budget and what our asks are for the services that we're covering.
Mm-hmm. And the county legislature has been quite in the spotlight over the last week or so. I recall that I don't have the exact date in front of me, but there is a bill that's being put through the legislature at the moment where they're discussing the amount of interaction with immigration and customs enforcement officials, colloquially known as ICE. So they have certainly been in the spotlight. We actually reported on that last week. From your perspective, as far as the interaction at the county legislature, what's the format whenever when you meet up? You're on the agenda. So what happens at the meeting whenever Joanio is speaking with the legislature?
So usually we're talking to them about our key asks as they relate to the New York State budget. So that won't be really any different this time. We really kind of review what was already in the governor's budget. And, I think, for us, we would like to thank them and the governor for including us in the budget over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Because we had gone 10 years prior to that with no rate increases, which really kind of hurt our standing, our reimbursement rates, and made it very difficult to
Right.
continue to deliver services. This year, the governor has in her budget a 1.7% targeted inflationary increase.
Right.
Our concern is that the CPI is 2.7%,
Mm.
and all of our other expenses have risen even higher than that.
Oh,
Our
yeah. That's
our
what we
yeah,
noticed.
our food costs are way up, well above the 2.7%. We have also seen huge increases in the utility costs. For Joannia, we're up over 11% year over year.
Mm-hmm.
The health insurance premiums, again, huge cost to us and went up 3.5% this past year. And then our commercial insurance has also gone up. So it's far outpacing the proposed targeted inflationary increase, which is certainly a big concern for us.
Oh, looks like we lost you. Randy, I apologize. We lost you for a second. Can you go back one sentence and repeat that, please? We'll fix that in post.
Sure. So the other big concern for us, obviously, is our staffing challenges.
Staffing.
Being able to fill our vacant position is critical, and being able to pay our staff a living wage and, pay them a salary that is commensurate with the work that they're doing for us. So, in Rockland County, according to the Alice report from 2023, a living wage for a single adult is $26.93 an hour, and our starting salary is $18.11. So there's still a large gap that needs to be filled to get even a single adult to a living wage here in Rockland County. Some of the other key issues that impact our workforce is being able to, have affordable housing, which is nearly non-existent in Rockland County. Access to affordable childcare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if I can also
Is
mention that there's also the quality of that affordable housing as well, and we're actually going to be following up on a story afterwards about the quality of several units in the area. So the quality of the units as well as the price. I'm noticing. Did we lose Randy? I'm not sure what happened. Hang on one moment.
because of that reason.
Okay, you're back on. Randy, I
Yes,
think we
hi,
lost you
sorry.
again. Yeah.
So the healthcare and the expense of the healthcare, even for our staff, it's very high. We have a high deductible plan.
Right.
So we would like the legislature to implement some care force affordability initiatives. So we've kind of outlined that in our ask for them. Some of the other things that we've really been pushing here at Joanio is, hiring those frontline staff that are really key to the services that we're providing.
Right.
So those are all going to be key issues that we're discussing with the legislature. The other areas that really seem to impact us a lot is over in our preschool, where we have, we employ teachers, teachers aides, and teachers assistants, and all of those, there's high turnover rates. We can't pay what the school districts can pay. So, we need something called an excessive teacher turnover prevention program to be fully funded so that we can increase those salaries. So that's certainly going to be an ask. The other area is our early intervention program that has struggled for more than a decade with inadequate funding. And these are services that are really critical to helping young children, birth through 2.5, get the services they need to be able to progress. And the program is in a terrible crisis because we don't have enough of them. New York State's ranked 48th in the nation. So the EI services are inadequate. The workforce shortages, the inability to attract therapists really come down to not having a sufficient reimbursement rate. So these are all areas we're going to be speaking to the legislature about on Friday.
Gotcha. And what would you say afterwards? The needle obviously moves slowly but surely in government. Once the meeting is over, what are next steps that occur thereafter? We're looking at future funding here.
Right.
So, how quickly do results occur? Do you hear word back in the fall time or next year? What's the
So
time?
usually the budget initiatives are all done, and they'll be in the April budget. But by the time we actually see the dollars, it's usually not till about October.
Yeah.
But our advocacy won't stop on Friday. We have multiple advocacy events. Some of them are in Albany, and then our very own rally in the Valley that is coming up on March 13th at Rockland Community College in the Field House. And we'll be hosting that event with 35 co-sponsors, which are all human service agencies in the Hudson Valley region and beyond. We have agencies and individuals coming from as far as Long Island and as high up as Albany to advocate alongside of us for these very important enhancements to the budget.
Gotcha. Well, definitely send us a press release about the event over at RCC as well, and we'll post that onto rocklandevents.com.
Great.
And you'll be right there with musical performances and a lot of things that are happening over the course of the year. Randy Rios Castro from Joanio, thank you for joining us on AM Rockland News today. I hope everything goes well at the legislature.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having us on your show.
Okay, you got it. All right, so that was Randy Rios Castro, and you can learn more about them at joanio.org. I've known them for many years, Diana Hess, as well as I met Randy approximately 2 years ago over at Joanio, and they really provide noble services for a variety of adults and children in Rockland County. Turning our heads to our next matter, we're going to have with us a member of a local condo complex that we've been following this story for a while. I'm just going to give you some conjecture here, and then we're going to take a break and come back with our guest. But there's I don't want to bring up what's going to happen, but there's a facility, a condo complex in Rockland County that we found out has been having some, let's just say, some substandard conditions. And it's not cool from what I hear actually it's very cool because there's some heating problems as well. But it's a local well-known condominium complex that was put up recently. and it's dealing with some electrical problems, some elevator problems, some mechanical problems, some mold problems. And that's where I stop because I like our guest to really chronicle what is happening over at that facility. So you're going to learn more. Stay tuned on AM Rockland's News. We'll be back in just a few moments with our next guest. And let's just play that fun music on the way out. And remember, in addition to our Facebook page where you can catch all the news that matters most, you can also catch us on our YouTube channel for AM Rockland News. And all of our episodes get posted to there. And then finally, of course, we have our really good recordings are on Spotify as well as on Apple Podcasts. I want to thank our sponsors for having us, for sponsoring us for Rockland News. First of all, we want to thank Yabu Fence Company, located in West Nyack, New York, Dana Pest Control, located in Tompkins Cove, New York, and Easy Temp in Hackensack, New Jersey, for all your ice machine repairs. That's right. Plus, we got Kobe Sushi with their Jazz Music Lounge, music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty, Whole Shot Bagels in Haverstraw, New York, 99 Signs, FZ Perfection, Clean Space Maintenance Management Company, and the New York Boulders baseball team, our new sponsors for 2026. We'll be right back with our next guest. Talk to you soon.